Like Justin said, I'm the director client solutions at Dell Technologies, and I'm going to talk about work at full speed. How you succeed with Dell Technologies. A lot has been changing. We've been talking about the change that's happened in the last 7 to 8 months. Uh, you know, uh, since the pandemic struck. And on the lighter note, the difference is, that today I'm talking to hundreds of people, but it appears to me I'm talking only to myself. I'm looking at myself and talking to myself. That's so. Uh, that aside, let me take you through what I'm going to talk about today. The topics for today will be about how you enable the remote work culture. I think that's the new normal, as we call it, right? And it's mandated at this point of time. And what we hear from a lot of organizations, their CEOs, CIOs, is that it's here to stay. Then the second part is how we are empowering work from home for the Dell employees. So just to give you a picture, we have more than 120,000 employees across the globe. And, it was probably the biggest challenge that we faced to begin with when the pandemic struck, to get these 120,000 employees getting started and working at full speed from home. And last but not the least, I'll talk about, how we can help the organizations, you know, work the same way, or I'll say accelerate workforce transformation, make it something which is sustainable and, which is future ready. What happened is that all of a sudden almost everybody started working remotely. What we had been looking at is a bcp arrangement largely took care of the technological requirements for something which was very short term. All of a sudden we realized that the needs changed, the physical needs changed. The office was no more the same office, right? It became a home office. The bandwidths that were available in office were probably not relevant anymore. The wi-fi available at home or internet available at home became very, very important. How important it was to get a quiet place for a meeting like this, or a discussion. Ergonomics, at office we all take care of that very well, but what happens when we move back to home? That's physical needs, cultural needs. Maslow's hierarchy came into picture. The remote work policies were there. They had to be relooked at, worked upon. The communication channels that never existed were opened. We Something that we hardly did. Even when we were collaborating remotely, it was usually an audio call, or a collaboration over a platform over audio. But what changed is that we encouraged people to use videos more. Technological, the right devices, the right technology in the backdrop, the right backbone, the right capacity planning, the right choice of internet and VPN. You know, when you put all this together, you need somebody to help the users, the organization when it's needed. So how do you have the right kind of support model? Remote support, help desks, self services. This is where we started. So it's not something that we probably accomplished in a time of 4 to 6 weeks when the pandemic struck. This is something Dell had been working on for over 10 years. We started this journey 10 years ago. And when we got into this situation, 65% of Dell employees were already equipped to start working from home immediately. How we did that is, how we made the experience seamless, irrespective of the location, time. Office, is it a seamless Wi-Fi? Modern meeting rooms, a different style of support, which is more like a walk-in. At home, how the apps can be accessed seamlessly, rich conferencing experience, audio, video, both, and leveraging the limited bandwidth that can be available at home. The mobile apps, the seamless access to all the relevant apps to the organization. One click join to meetings made users available at any time, irrespective of their location. It could be a cafe, it could be home, office, or even a moving car. That's what we have started working on. That's, so that was a long journey. Now, when we look at what are the important tenets of achieving this, is how we provide a personal experience, how we ensure that a new joinee is productive from day one, irrespective of the situation we are in, how we ensure that services provided before and after deploying any infrastructure is up to the mark. How do we ensure that the devices, the network, the data center, the cloud is optimized for the best performance possible? And then uninterrupted workflows. It wasn't only the IT which really did this all by itself. It was all about HR, IT, and facilities getting together and making sure that they got together to create an atmosphere which appeared to be no different from what it was probably beginning of February. That's what I'll say. Moving on, I want to quickly give you a glimpse of what we are doing today. So what we've done is, the users are always connected irrespective of the device they use. What we use is a workspace one, so there is no VPN required, and you can access most relevant apps anywhere. It could be on your phone or your laptop. Modern collaboration tools, this is something that we adopted long back, where again we don't need any VPN. It can be accessed from any device, anytime and anywhere. Unified conferencing solutions, where we said, okay, video is something that we enabled more than a year back. Video, audio, and web conferencing solutions, again any device, anywhere. Day one productivity, a new joinee didn't have to necessarily come to the office to get onboarded. He was onboarded anywhere, anytime, and had access to the most relevant applications when it came to HR and IT to begin with. And last but not the least, I keep talking about that, is how the support model changed, how it became a lot more on the go support model than on demand. So what it led to is best in class, secure, seamless experience wherever you work. Moving on, I just want to give you a glimpse of what all we did. We ramped up this capacity in less than 6 weeks time, where we had 90,000 users enabled on VPN, connected on VPN at any given point of time. We had more than 57,000 Zoom meetings every day, or we still are having. It might have increased as I speak to you. And we had all of 120,000 employees enabled, connected, working from every nick and corner of the globe. Moving on, something that was extremely important that we did was that we changed the workflow. We changed how the network operated, and we could do that because of SD-WAN that we had implemented. So everything did not have to be routed through the Dell central data center. What changed is that we could get users connected directly to the cloud for the productivity apps they wanted to use. It could have been the CRM tools, it could have been the O365, it could have been the HR related tools, IT related tools. Everything was enabled directly over the cloud, which helped us save a lot of time and bandwidth for our IT professionals. This is something that you'll see how it looked like. Just want to give you a glimpse. I'm sure it looks very similar for you all. You'll see Michael Dell right in the center, giving a glimpse of how he works from home, and just a glimpse of how we have been working from home for so many months altogether now. I'll come to that how we can help. Why we say that is how we can help is, one, that we are the technology providers. When you look at Dell Technologies, we are probably the only organization who can provide you everything from edge to core to cloud under one roof. The other part is that we are our we are our biggest customers. We are among, the largest employers in the world, and that gives us an opportunity to test every technology, every transformation related to, you know IT, or I say digital transformation. It could be IT, it could be workforce, it could be security. Try it on ourselves, and then take it to our customers to see how effective we can be. Moving on, let's start with what it takes. I think for a user, what matters is that does the user have the right device, the right applications and desktop infrastructure? That's where the user that's what the user is concerned about. Coming to the IT, how important it is to have the right security suite, because security, the parameters have changed, the boundaries have changed. Security has to adapt and change accordingly. That has to change. Then the way we used to lay out our networks and manage them has to change. It's all about software defined network. And finally, which is something that we keep talking about, is cloud. Okay, it's not about which cloud we're talking about. It could be a public, it could be a private, it could be a hybrid cloud. Put this together, wrap it up with an end-to-end security. It makes it a completely digitally connected workplace. I'll spend some time in going through each of these five tenets before I wind up, and share with you what all we can cover in each of these. So let's begin with the devices here. You know, it has to be the right hardware. It has to add to it the life cycle software. That makes it a complete package in terms of offering that you provide to an employee when your employee is looking for a refresh, a new device. And then when you deployed that, comes how effectively we are able to service our customers. Why we call our customers is, it's everybody customer, right? A user is IT department's customer, and in turn our customer as Dell. So how we service them is extremely important. So getting the right product and the right set of applications on top of it is the first step. Go on to the next step. Is that the only thing we are looking at? The right device and the right set of applications? Probably no. What end user needs is the flexibility to decide where that user can work from and how productive and effective that user can be, irrespective of the location. It could be at home, it could be on the go, or it could be in the office. What it takes for the IT to make sure is that the deployment, the security, the management, and the support is in place. You put this together in a unified workspace environment, and you'll see everything comes together so seamlessly. And what happens is that the overall life cycle environment of a device simplifies so much because of the modern solutions for deployment, security, management, and support. And it's not about creating an infrastructure. It's about providing what is the need of the hour, what employees demand today. Moving on from the user part of it to the IT part of it. How do you do that? It's extremely important to secure the endpoints today. Start with hardening where you are today, understanding your endpoints in the current state, running a health assessment on that, taking action with live remote access, extremely important. You know, prevent malware and attacks, shut down in case you see a sudden attack, easily adapt preventing to existing behavior on your network, detect and respond to imminent threats, hunt for threats, detect anomalies, and intelligently monitor them and feed it back. It can be all done through a single platform, a single agent, and a single console. Moving on to how effectively you can make sure that the productivity doesn't get hampered, and at the same time, you have the right set of application deployed in the right way. How you're looking at the end-to-end desktop and application virtualization solution. It has to be a combination. Sometimes we virtualize the applications, sometimes it is a complete desktop which gets virtualized. How you do that is with the best of breed. What we have to offer you there is the best of breed Dell technology products. you know Options of flexible consumptions where you can arrive at the right combination of your opex and capex model, streamline sales and support. How we've managed to do that is bringing in three big organizations together, which is Dell EMC, VMware, and Dell. Put them together. They bring you the capability that nobody else does today. Moving on to SD-WAN. So what's changing is that how. So I talked to you about how SD-WAN helped us change the way we had laid our network and made sure that users could be more productive moment we went remote. That we could do that because we had the industry leader VMware on our side when it came to providing the technology on software, and couple it with the purpose built appliances from Dell EMC. It made for a complete solution. What also SD-WAN, what SD-WAN does is it's a very simplified way of ordering and provisioning to deployment, which can enable you to achieve your goals of modernization a lot faster than you otherwise would. When you put this together, what you need is that do I have the right partner to support it? That's where the Dell services come in and provide you something which the support which is best in class, including a 24 cross 7 cross 365 support with an established supply chain and a suite of flexible hardware and software options, which I keep saying that is unique to the industry. Talking about cloud, cloud strategy has to be all about how you improve the overall performance and the reliability. Optimizing for cloud scale and reducing latency with local resources is something that is of prime importance. Next comes is optimizing cost. How do you arrive at the right model when it comes to blending the capex and opex models? And then deciding on which workloads have to go in which cloud environment. There shall be some applications which have to stay in the private cloud owing to security concerns. Then there are some applications which users can directly access over the public cloud, put them there, and then you create an environment which is absolutely seamless and makes for an extremely productive environment. Put this together, like I said, you achieve a very well digitally connected workplace. With that, I want to leave you with something that we learned in this progress. It's extremely important to stay in contact with the team. How you regularly communicate, prioritize, cross training, talk take picking up subjects which will help the users, the individuals in current scenario. Taking a look ahead, we heard about this a lot in the previous discussions, is that it's not about where we are today, it's about where you want to be as we move forward. It's about looking far ahead. And this is, believe you me, this is a great time to modernize the way you look at your data centers. So it's extremely important. Keep in mind that transformations are very important. Keep in mind those transformations. Where do you want to be when you're done with this? I talked about this earlier. Cross training people is extremely important to keep up with times and pace. And last, but probably the most important thing, is to be optimistic. I think the thing started with a big lull, and if you look at things today, at least in India, things have started getting back on track. you know we see our customers coming back to us and saying that the business is getting back on track. Let's plan for future. That's what we need to look at. And with that, I want to wind up. Thank you for all for your time.